All right. So I'm looking at the clock down here and we're at 2:07. So we're 3 minutes ahead of schedule. If I'm scheduling 10 minutes, if I have an hour and a half, 10 minutes for each video, that will give us 9 videos in 90 minutes. And this next video, this video right here, the one I'm recording right now on GitHub, is going to take up a little bit, it's going to be a long video. And so GitHub is totally optional, totally optional. And to understand GitHub in its entire depth, right, is an entire course in and of itself. But I just want to introduce GitHub because it's something that's it's definitely here and it's common and you need to be aware of it and everybody needs to be aware of it. And you might never use it in your life, but you should know what it is. So GitHub is social coding, right? It's social collaboration. And it's a website and you create an account on the website. And then when you have that account, and I'm just realizing I'm not signed in, so I'm going to have to sign in. So we'll edit this sign-in process out of the video. All right, so I just signed into LastPass, and a nice thing about LastPass also is it has two-factor authentication, and that means that I had to respond to a text that came to my phone, and I respond to that text and I say, yeah, I'm authorizing this login, and then it logged me in. And now that I'm logged into LastPass, I can log into GitHub, and so I click on this, and you can see it automatically dropped my information in. I just hit sign in, and now GitHub is sending me two-factor authentication, and so I have to check my phone here, and then enter the number it just sent me. So you could see this, it's fine, because it's going to expire after I use it. And it's 465253. Pow! All right, so I'm in. And so GitHub is like social coding. And while it's coding and for programmers, it's starting to move into other areas and allows you to create files and store files and do what they call repositories. So here's a repository for one of my courses. And you can see I've got all of my files here and they're really nicely organized. And it just makes file management and file organization easy. So if you're doing any kind of a coding course, or even if it's another course, you could use GitHub and then you could just say, hey, this is where all the files are, and it's totally free. And so this is great because I don't have to, keep relying on Google Drive. It's just an alternative to Google Drive in terms of file management. It keeps like all of the files in a work path that you're going to work through all these files. It keeps them all organized and it's easy to do. So let me show you how to do that. And then if you want to learn more about it, you can go take an entire training on it. So I just come in here and create a new repository. I'm just going to call this sample repo. And I'm just going to make it public and not going to add any files there. And I'm going to create the repository. And so now I have this repository and I have some instructions here. So those instructions are telling me to do some stuff at the command line. And so before we had graphical user interfaces on computers, and this is a graphical user interface. It's got, windows, icons, things I could grab and look at and move around. Before we had graphical user interfaces, we had the command line user interface, the CLI. The graphical user interface is the GUI, the GUI. The command line user interface is the CLI, the command line interface. And so I think that's CMD. Let me see, command prompt. Command prompt, is that the one I'm looking for? I'm looking for git shell. That's the one I want right there. So there's my git shell. And so you have to get some things configured on your computer for this to work. But like I said, I'm just kind of giving you the tour. And if you like it, you could go dig around a little bit more and take a training on this or take one of my other classes where I do talk about this in more depth and show how to do it all. I'm just kind of giving you the preview of how it works and how you can set it up. So I'm waiting for git shell to start. Well, Git shell's not coming up, so let me try the command prompt and see what happens. The commands are going to be slightly different. I don't know. I might have set this up where it works with Git. So let's just see what happens if I hit enter ls. That looks good, and clear. That looked good. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to create a directory. I'm at Todd's recording PC, and I'm going to bring this over here and put this one on the left. So hold down the Windows key and press right arrow, and then come over here and select that one. And then I'm just going to go to Documents. And so now I'm going to switch to Documents. So CD Documents, and it took me to Docker. So ls-la and clear and ls to check all that out, and then CD into Documents. That should do it. And now I'm inside Documents. I don't know why I didn't do that the first time. So now I'm in there. I'm going to make a directory, and I'm going to call this sample repo, the same name I named my repo on GitHub. And so now I could look at all the directories in there, and I could see I have a directory called sample repo, and you could also see that over here. It should pop up in Documents because I'm in this PC, Documents, and Todd recording PC, this PC, Documents. I'm just looking for my sample repo file. This PC, maybe it's in C and users and Todd recording PC and Documents and a sample repo. So I actually want it just to be in this PC, right? So this PC Documents. So I'm going to switch from that. And I'm going to remove that, remove recursively with force sample repo. So I want it to be just right in that area right there. And then CD, back up a couple levels, and CD into this piece. I could ls that to see what kind of users we have. And default looks like it'd be good, so CD into default. And now ls and CD into Documents. And then clear and ls. And I've got only a couple of files in there, so that's not the right one. Default ls. And I'm just looking for Todd recording PC, all users. Let's try CD all users. And CD all users. There we go. Need double quotes. Clear and ls. Okay, so that's looking better. And now I'm going to make dir sample repo. And so did I see a sample repo show up over here? I don't see it. What happens when we ls right here? So ls, sample repos there. We also have AMD, Adobe. So some of those folders are there, some are not. So I could look at the permissions maybe on sample repo. And sample repo has permissions, read, write, execute for this user, read, execute. So I could change mod, sample repo, 777 sample repo. Should change the permissions on all of that, and ls-la. And no, that didn't do it. Clear.